are you? Today we'll be doing another fall crochet tutorial and I'm really excited about it. I hope it turns out exactly how I'm picturing it in my head, because sometimes my imagination and my designs for things are just beyond my own skill level. But hopefully this will turn out really cute and I'm really excited for it. So first off, we will need the most important part, which will be the yarn that we use to make our leaf. So this is a loops and thread yarn. I don't remember the color because I bought this and originally used this before I started keeping the like little paper piece. But yeah, it's loops and thread from Michael's. It's like the chenille like velvet yarn, and we'll be using a size 6mm hook right there if you can see it. And then just extras, you'll need safety eyes if you want to use safety eyes, or acrylic yarn to embroider the eyes. This will be for the mouth. I will probably use safety eyes, and then this is optional, but I will be using acrylic yarn to stitch the two sides together because it's a lot easier than trying to use this to weave my yarn together. And as well, that also means you'll need a yarn needle or a crochet needle, whatever you prefer to call it, to crochet the two sides, or to sew the two pieces together, as well as attach the legs. So let's get started. To start, I'm going to go to the end of our yarn here. You don't need to leave like a super long tail or anything, because like I will personally be using a acrylic yarn to attach them together, but we're going to do a starting chain of 20, and you don't want to do your stitches too tight, which my starting chain I always tend to do way too tight, especially since I'm using a hook that is smaller than the recommended. That just always ends up causing them to be tight. But we'll do a starting chain of 20. Once you have done your starting chain of 20, we're just going to go straight across, which I typically skip the first stitch, go into the second, and I'll just do a single crochet all the way across. Like so. What I mean by go to the end, this is our last stitch here, so I'm gonna go all the way into that one. Now I'm going to flip my work. I'm going to skip the first stitch, go into the second stitch, then I'm going to do 15 single stitches. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, oops, let me not lose my stitch here, and then 15. So we're gonna have this like thinner piece right here, because let's be honest, that's kind of more what leaves look like. And I do really like kind of more of the, I don't know, kind of quirkier, imperfect look when I do crochet. So I'm going to flip my work. I am going to put a stitch in and then flip my work here, skip the first stitch, and then I'm going to do 12 stitches. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then instead of continuing forward, we're going to do 3 single stitches out to create another row. In my last clip, I did misspeak. It's actually 4 single stitches, not 3. We're going to turn our work. We're not going to go into the first one, but into the second one. And we are going to go 15 single stitches. So that's 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, all the way to 15, which 15 should be about all the way across. I'm actually gonna go into this stitch too here. So it's 15 or 16, I guess I should say. And then we'll do 1, 2, 3 single stitches, and we'll go into the second stitch if it doesn't want to fight me here. And then we're going to go all the way across to the other side. So we'll go into this last stitch for this row. After the 5th row is done, we're going to do 2 single stitches again. My yarn's tangled. So 1, 2, we're going to flip our work for row 6. Once again, skip the first one, go into the second one, and we're going to go all the way across and do the same thing. Once we're at the end, we're going to add 2 single stitches off the end, just like this one. Once we have added our 2 extra single stitches on the end, we'll go into the second stitch. In this row, row 7, we will just do 14 stitches. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. So you can see we kind of have like a defining section, but I think I'm actually a little short. I must have miscounted because I did already make the first part of it. So let me go double check and see if this is the right length. 14 is actually the correct number. So after 14, we'll flip our work, go into the first one, and do 9. So that's 2, then 3, then 4, and 5, and 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, so it looks a little off right now, but once we get our 3 points, it will look a little bit more like a leaf. So we will do our single crochet here. So after our last row, we'll do a single crochet of 4. I might have in my last clip said 3. If I did, it's actually 4. I've already done 1/2 of the leaf to get like the pattern, and this part I did not count, so I had to double check. But we will flip our work and we'll go into 1, 2, 3, and then the bottom. I will go film like a better look at this in a second. I just need to sit down because I messed it up a couple of times. But I did 2 stitches, and then into this stitch I pulled through, and then I attached into the next stitch on the body, and I'm going to pull my yarn through to attach this part of the leaf. I went into the next stitch on our base, and I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, and 4 stitches. You can see we just have 1 stitch in our base here in between, so we'll go into this stitch and then in through our base. So we have through the stitch, through the next stitch on our base, and pull our yarn through. And then we're going to go to the next one, pull our yarn through, and then flip our work and go up. We're at the top of this one, and we're just going to add a stitch to kind of give it a pointed look. Then we're going to go into the next one, not the very top, and go all the way down. I'm going to be completely honest because I'm pretty frustrated right now. This was my first leaf. I have no idea how I did this. I blacked out, I guess, while crocheting. You know, I feel like people can relate where you just like mindlessly crochet. That is 100% me. I literally did a pattern all the way up to here, and I was like, I'm about to do it again. I will 100% remember how I do this. Clearly I do not. So we're gonna improvise with this by stitching this piece down if you also have it like squared off at the top. We'll get to it when we get to it, but like I have redone this 6 times. It has been me like trying to break down in my head how I did this, and I cannot figure it out. I've done it so many times that it's like to the point where I'm like frustrated and angry, so we might just have to stitch it into a point. But with that being said, we are only gonna go up on this one. 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches, and then we're gonna go down 1, 2, 3 and attach to here, and then we'll do the last piece. Also with this, I wanted to encourage you, if you can make it a little bit more like this shape, please do. I know I'm gonna call this a tutorial and I'm gonna leave it as a tutorial. I just wanted to be honest that like it doesn't matter how long you crochet or anything like that, you can make mistakes, and sometimes after frogging your work so many times, you just have to get to the point where you get a little creative, and whether you sew down the part that's giving you trouble, or if yours ended up like this, will literally, like I said, you just fold it into the proper shape here. It will do the same thing whether you do this or yours ends up this way. But anyways, you will also go into the next stitch here, and then we'll do 2 single stitches. You actually want to do 3 single stitches, and then we're going to turn our work and do similarly to these, where I'm going to crochet down. And then once we have these 2, we're going to go into this one and into this one and make a single stitch. Once I do that, I am going to do I'm going to crochet into this last stitch, and then I'm going to cut my yarn and pull through. Once you do that, you'll have to do a second one. And then we are going to do the face. Face is exactly how you want to. You don't even have to do a face if you want to do a stem instead. But I'm going to do a little face. I'm going to use 2 safety eyes. I'll show you what size I use, and do a small mouth. For the eyes, I will be using 2 8mm eyes. For the mouth, I literally just did black acrylic kind of from like the corner of each eye, and then pulled it down with 2 strings to kind of give it a more U-shaped mouth. And now I'm actually going to go ahead and stitch both pieces together all the way around, leaving just enough space to stuff it as well as attach the legs. So I'm gonna mostly sew it together, and then we'll go back to do his little legs. Now we are going to do the legs. I did decide to do brown because I felt like it matched a little better. The black was a little, like it contrasted a little too much. It didn't work as well, so I did decide brown. But if you like the look of brown or black acrylic, or any color really, to be the legs, you are more than welcome to do that. You want to do a starting chain of 10. I'm using a 4.5mm hook with this like lighter weight acrylic. You will do 3 rows of 9 single crochet, and once you do that, you will trim your yarn, pull it through, and stitch the 2 ends together to kind of create one rounded off piece. Once you have fully attached, we're going to take our yarn and we're going to go into the end. Once we weave into the end like that, we're going to go up and then back into, so I went like 2 stitches up and then into the next stitch, and then go all the way through. You can see where I came out of, and I went back into the next stitch all the way straight through. By doing that, it creates kind of like a foot, and then we're going to just weave our yarn all the way back up to here and tie it off, and then we're going to attach the legs. Once you're done attaching the legs, it's time to stuff and seal up the rest of the body. Once you kind of evenly stuff him, he's done. So his legs are a little offset, but he's pretty cute. I did only lightly stuffed because I felt like just with the shape, it wouldn't have looked very good. And I think as long as you don't mess up the top like I kept doing, this is a pretty quick and easy project. It would just be absolutely adorable to like set on a shelf and display for fall. And yeah, that is how you make the falling leaf buddy. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you love fall, Halloween, you should subscribe to my channel as well as follow my Instagram, which I always put down below. And if you make this little guy yourself, you should send me a photo on Instagram. I would love to see your own creation. But I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye!